Hey guys, how we doing and how we feeling today? Okay, so today we're gonna talk about Lauv's second studio album titled All for Nothing. Okay, so before we begin here, I thought I might do a pretty brief rundown on who Lauv is in case you guys are not familiar with him. He is mainstream, but he is not like quite up there, I would say. Um, with big leagues and shit. So perhaps Lauv is best known for his breakout single "I Like Me Better," his biggest hit to date. It's from his first compilation album called. Hang on, I don't remember the title. Here it is. From his first compilation album titled I Met You When I Was 18, the playlist from 2018. So, fast forward to August of 2022, and today is actually the 19th of August, and this album came out on August 5th, I think. August 5th. So a couple of weeks back, 2 weeks back, this album dropped, and we're gonna review it now. Okay. So with that out of the way, okay. First, let's get into the 4 singles that we had leading up to the album release. So they were 26, All for Nothing, I'm So in Love, Kids Are Born Stars, and Stranger. Okay, so now let's get firstly into the album. We'll go track by track. We'll touch briefly on each song, and then we'll proceed with the lyrical analysis on select songs. So, okay, first things first. So, the album is 13 songs long, and it's 37 minutes and 13 seconds long, so a little over 37 minutes, so it's not that long of a listen. But is it really worth it to go through the entire album? Let's get into it. Okay, so we start out the album with 26. Gotta say, this is a pretty interesting choice for an opening track, but in a good way. And Lauv kicks off the album with quite an introspective song, I might say. We'll get into the lyrics later on, but for now I will say that about the opening track. Okay, next we move on to track number 2, Stranger. Okay, so this track does a pretty great job at capturing the listener's attention because as I established, 26 is a pretty good opening track, pretty solid. So we start out the album we started out right, and Stranger really escalates things, but again, in a good way, in the best way possible. Really elevates the album quality-wise. Things get more interesting, and Lauv's vocals here are simply music to the ears. He really starts to showcase his vocals more on this track, and it's a good thing because we're starting the album, and he's like, okay, let me show you guys or remind you guys what I sound like when I really let loose those pipes. Next, we move on to Kids Are Born Stars. And just gonna say this is a pretty nice, sort of chill song. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Then we move on to track number 4, Molly in Mexico. And this is just simply a fun, carefree track. Not really deep. Well, I don't see it that way. Next, we move on to All for Nothing, I'm in Love, the title track. A pretty decent title track, but Not much else to say there at all, should I say. Then we move on to track number 6, Stay Together. And we're gonna skip to track number 7, Summer Nights. Then track number 8, Time After Time. I do have one thing to say here. Just that Lauv's vocals carry the song, because other than that, there's not really much else to I was gonna say digest. It's not that. It's just like, besides his vocals, which are pretty solid here, pretty sharp, might I add, there's not there's not anything else to capture your attention. So let's move on. Track number 9, Hey Ari. Okay, so not gonna lie, this title caught my attention, and now that I discovered that, because I'm not really a Lauv fan, I do enjoy his music. He seems like a pretty interesting artist to me. I've listened to him, I think it was back in 2017. I remember I think the first time I listened to him was on a collab with DJ Snake. I love DJ Snake, and can't remember the title at the top of my head, but oh yeah, I remember. It's called A Different Way, and that's when I listened to his voice, to Lauv's voice for the first time, and I said right then and there, I gotta check more of this guy's stuff, and I did. But still, I can't call myself a fan. Like, I literally just these past few days went through his well, I was gonna say entire discography. Mainly, I went through, obviously in chronological order, to see his evolution. I started with his compilation album that I just mentioned previously. Then How I'm Feeling, his debut album, followed by his 2020 EP Without You, which was interestingly, well, I remember actually, because that's I would say that's the first time I actually listened to a project of his in its entirety as soon as it dropped. Because we were in quarantine, so there was not much else to do. I listened to a whole lot of music in quarantine, and yeah. After that, well, pretty much by that time, I was keeping up. Well, I was gonna say for the most part, but I was sort of keeping up with Laup's new singles and whatnot, and yeah, I remember perfectly that Without You was 100% produced and recorded during quarantine. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have that tiny time capsule of Lauv, of that time. And then that brings us to All for Nothing, which just dropped a few weeks back. So, okay, what I meant to say with all that context was that I just now discovered, before doing this review, that Ari is actually Lauv's real name. Obviously, I knew that Lauv wasn't an actual name. I knew it was a stage name, but I never even bothered to see, okay, what's this guy's real name? And it's Ari. So yeah, so this song, now that I know that, makes it a whole lot interesting in terms of the lyrics, what Lauv is saying here. And this is easily the most introspective song on the album. We'll get into that when we dissect the lyrics. And but for now, I will say this: Lauv simply put checks on himself. Like when you check on someone, a friend, a close relative, anyone. But this time, Lau is doing that with himself. We'll get into that in a bit. Then we move on to track number 10, Better Than This. Not a single note here. So let's move on to track number 11, Bad Trip. And I have one thing to say about this track, and it's not a good thing. It's a pretty repetitive track, quite repetitive. So, yeah, that's never good. Then we move on to I Don't Have a Problem. Okay, this song really starts to stick the landing for the closing of the album, which is pretty nice change of pace for this album. And the song really comes to life towards the end, and this feels like the most emotionally charged track on the album, which is pretty nice, pretty interesting, because I love emotionally charged tracks. They have a lot more to say, to analyze, to digest, and all that jazz. And that brings us to track number 13, the last track on this album, First Grade. And simply put, this is a pretty piano ballad to close the album. And Lauv really stuck the landing here. Okay, next, my highlights for the album. There are three: Stranger, I Don't Have a Problem, and First Grade. Okay, now let's go back to the beginning to analyze about half of the album's tracks, starting with the opening track, 26. Lauv sings on the first verse, "Can I tell you a story about a boy who broke his own heart? And he always blamed everyone else, but the truth is that he did it to himself. Made a couple songs and they got big, and thought that he could do whatever he wanted, but it all left him with a hole in his heart." Then he sings on the pre chorus, "Money buys you happiness, but doesn't buy you time." Then on the chorus, he sings, "The more that I get older, the less I want to be sober. And I can't quit, goddammit. And maybe I'm just broken, and I'll never admit it. But I wish that I was younger. Yeah, 26 and rich. How the hell did it come to this?" And finally, in the second verse, Lao sings, "And I wish I could tell you that everything is perfect, but it's not. I was staring at the ceiling for like 10 days, but I'm pretty sure that I forgot what it's like to be a person that doesn't think, that everything he does just sucks. Oh, it's a perfect world until it's not." Okay, quite a lot to unpack here. And that's pretty good. It's pretty damn good for an opening track when you have a lot to analyze. So okay, let's get on with it. So okay, what I take from this song is that Lauv is talking about, the success he's had as an artist ever since he broke out with, as I said previously, with his breakout single "I Like Me Better," his biggest hit to date. He's only gotten bigger with time. And yeah, I mean, we've seen this with multiple artists throughout history. Most recently with artists like Billie Eilish, with her song "Everything I Wanted," her Grammy nominated song at that. And there she was singing something similar, like, "I got everything I wanted, but well, I thought that was everything I wanted, but it turns out it's not. It's not like what some people make it out to be. There's more. There's a lot more to that. It has a dark side to it. So yeah, Lauv is singing pretty much something quite similar to that, and he goes on to say, "And thought that he could do whatever he wanted, but it all left him with a hole in his heart." So yeah, like Billy, Lauv here is basically saying that, hey, I got some hits under my belt. I've gotten more successful, but it's not all like pretty rainbows. There's a dark side to this, and I guess he wasn't ready for that. He wasn't anticipating that, but when it got to him, it was uh, it was too overwhelming for him, which is pretty understandable. And then, okay, this is a pretty interesting lyric here. Money buys you happiness, but doesn't buy you time. Okay, first of all, I can't say I completely like I don't really believe in that money buys you happiness, because no, I don't really see it that way. Some people do, but I don't. But especially this, but doesn't buy you time, that I can get behind 100%, because time is one of the most valuable things we have. We can't get it back. Once we waste it, we lose it, it passes, that's it. There's no going back. And then this only gets more interesting. Lauv says here, the more that I get older, the less I want to be sober. And I can't quit, god damn it. And maybe I'm just broken. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty dark stuff here. Basically pretty straightforward. Lauv says the older I get, the less I want to be sober. So sadly, he feels the need to recur to substances, alcohol, and all that. And he wants to quit, but he can't. So he feels stuck, which is never good. He's like, how did it get to this? I mean, 26 and rich, but at what cost, And then he's like, I wish that I could say that everything is perfect, but it's not. And yeah, I mean, he's saying it right there. I mean, he wishes things would be different, but they're not. Then we move on to Stranger. Lauv sings in the first verse, so what if this is it? What if it falls apart in front of my face? I wouldn't be surprised, because it happens every time. And now I'm feeling sick, doing all these things that just push you away. Baby, tell me, why do I do this every time? And then in the pre-chorus, he sings, I'm no good at loving you, but I'll try time and time again. Kiss me now and tell me why you're still here. Because I'm no stranger to loving. I'm no stranger to falling apart. No stranger to secrets and monsters and demons. I'm scared of the dark. I'm no stranger to fighting. I'm no stranger to playing with hearts. No stranger to secrets and monsters and demons. I'm scared of the dark. Okay, so first of all, this is by far my favorite song on the album. But also, objectively speaking, I do see it as a very strong standout track on the album. But anyways, about the lyrics. So basically, Lauv is talking about, someone, a lover, that he feels like and he's realizing that he does certain things that push that person away. Maybe he doesn't do them on purpose, but he feels like it's too much for this other person. And he's like, why am I like this? Why is it always like this? Why can't I be better for you? And he's even wondering, like, why are you still here? Why are you still with me? Like, you deserve better than this. And he even goes on to say, I'm no stranger to loving, to falling apart. No stranger to secrets and monsters and demons. I'm scared of the dark. I'm scared of fighting. I'm no stranger to fighting. And yeah, I mean, this song is pretty dark, pretty melancholic. And yeah, I mean, Lauv is not in a very good place here. So let's move on. Moving on to Stay Together, Lauv sings in the pre chorus, and looking back at the evidence, all we did was fight and all we did was lie. So you and me, thank God we never stayed together, bought a house, had a kid, got a dog together. Thank God we never said forever. You and me, we were never meant to stay together. Thank God we never stayed together. Bought a house, had a kid, got a dog together. Thank God we never said forever. You and me, we were never meant to stay together. Yeah. In the second verse, he sings, I don't feel bad like I used to. I drink every night like I used to. I'm pretty sure that I found a new you. Then, sorry, that was it. Okay, so basically, this song follows up from the previous song's lyrical content. He's talking about this lover, I presume it's the same one, and he's like realizing that, yeah, I mean, now everything makes sense. Like why we didn't work out, and thank God it went that way. Thank God for that outcome, that we didn't commit to anything like long-term serious things. And yeah, I mean, basically, I relate 100% to this. I have always believed, and I believe it more with time and experiences, life experiences, that everything does happen for a reason. It truly does. So when something doesn't work out with someone, I mean, it's for the best. You gotta trust the process. Then, moving on to Summer Nights, Lauv sings in the chorus, back to the summer nights, you and I, way before we were real lovers, yeah, candlelight dinner plans. Before we really knew each other, summertime passed, I think we lost our way. Can we get back to summer nights way before you and I, before you and I hurt each other? And in the pre-chorus, he sings, I know it's hard for you. You know it's hard for me. Baby, don't back down. We got a chance to make it last this time. Okay, so simply put, Lauv is talking about, this lover of his, and how he's reminiscing about simpler times with this other person. Before things got complicated, the calm before the storm. But alas, he still believes, even despite all that, he still believes that there's a chance they can make it work again. So yeah. Moving on to Hey Ari. In the chorus, Lauv sings, I see through the pills you take. I see through the face you make. Hey Ari, are you happy? Your lovesick attitude, it doesn't make you cool. Hey Ari, are you happy? In the first verse, he sings, it's been days since you've been sober. And you're not getting any younger. I'm not saying that you're old, but you're way too old for this. Yeah, you fall in love on Fridays, then you fall apart on Sundays, and you wake up drunk on Mondays, and you call your therapist. And in the chorus, he sings yet again. Well, this time slightly different. I see through the pills I take. I see through the face I make. Hey Ari, are you happy? No. Your lovesick attitude doesn't make you cool. Hey Ari, are you really happy? I say yeah, for sure. Okay, so this song, remember I said previously that this song there was quite a lot to say about the song. Okay, so here we are. And yeah, this song is quite a lot. Lauv, or Ari, is digging deep within himself, really examining himself, taking a hard look at himself, and he's like realizing what a mess he is. That he has a lot of work to do on himself, and you know he knows that every pill he takes, all the pills that he takes, is just more damage he's inflicting on himself, and his lovesick tendencies are not doing things any better for him. It's only drowning him even more, and he he recognizes that he hasn't been sober for a while, and he's only getting older, and he has to change some habits because he's talking here about his mental health. And let me just pause right here and say that I highly appreciate artists like Lauv that are advocates for mental health, because he himself has said multiple times that he has mental health issues, and I respect him for dealing with them, and not only that, but talking about them through his music, and also whether it be via interviews or whatnot. He's even known for donating funds of his songs to mental health organizations. So kudos to Lauv. Mental health is quite real and something that should be talked about more. Okay, moving on to Better Than This, the last song we will analyze. Lauv sings in the chorus, "I could do better than this, and baby, that makes me sick. I'm looking at you right now, wondering if you're down, but I'm not sure of it. Because you could do better than this, and baby, that makes me sick. I'm making you crazy, telling you maybe I'm not meant for this." And in the second verse, he sings, "I left the last kiss on your lips, baby. Sorry. It didn't feel perfect, and I know that sometimes you're hurting, and I'm the source. Sometimes I might let you down. It's only because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to stick around, or baby, if I should go, yeah." Okay, so basically, to sum it up, Lauv really believes that this lover of his, this partner, really deserves someone better than him. And he's not even sure that he should still be with this person, because he believes that he's bad for this other person. So yeah. Okay, so wrapping it up here. Okay, so this album is not a very exciting album overall. Lyrically, it is quite interesting, but its sound leaves a lot to be desired. Okay, is this Lauv's best album? No. I strongly believe that How I'm Feeling, his debut album, even though it's 20 songs or 21 songs long, that's a pretty damn long album. However, if we have to pick his best body of work, I really believe it's that one, because his debut album, because also there are quite a few bops in there. So yeah. Okay, so what score do I give All for Nothing? I give it 3 out of 5 stars. And yeah, guys, that was it for my review of All for Nothing by Lauv. Before I go, make sure to follow Pop and Bop on Instagram at Pop and Bop, and on TikTok at Pop and Bop1 for more content. And yeah, this has been Pop and Bop. I'm Emilio Fernandez, and thank you so much for listening. See you next time.